Welcome to the deep dive. Yesterday was just an incredible day of baseball, a full slate, wall-to-wall action, and so many different storylines. Our goal today, we're going to try and unpack every single game, really dig into what mattered most.
Yeah, it was fascinating. You had everything, didn't you? From like fundamental baseball, small ball, to just pure power displays. These games gave us a real look into strategy, resilience, you name it. Lots to talk about.
Okay, let's jump right in then. St. Louis Cardinals getting a 7-4 win over the Miami Marlins. I heard this one called a bit of a masterclass in fundamentals from the Cards. What did you see?
What really stood out was just how efficient they were, especially with runners in scoring position. I think they went 5 for 7. That's huge.
Yeah.
It wasn't just luck either. It felt like real patience, drawing walks, executing the hit and run, just constantly applying pressure. It felt like more than just a win, like a psychological victory on the road, just out executing them.
Right. And for Miami, what was holding them back? Why couldn't they stop that bleeding?
It seemed like they just didn't have that lockdown reliever, someone to come in and just slam the door on a rally. The Cardinals kept extending innings, kept finding ways to push runs across when maybe they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
That left on base number for Miami tells a story.
Okay, shifting gears. We had a doubleheader up in Toronto, Blue Jays and Pirates splitting. Game 1, Blue Jays looked pretty dominant, won at 7-3. They came out swinging.
Yeah, that first game was, well, pretty typical Blue Jays, right? You saw the power. They've got those hitters who could just change the game instantly. 7 runs, pretty decisive. They hit for power, found the gaps.
But then, wow, Game 2. Pirates flipped the script completely, win 2-1. How did they shut down that Jays offense after Game 1?
That was impressive.
Yeah.
It turned into a real classic pitcher's duel. The Pirates starter was just fantastic, mixing pitches, keeping hitters off balance, and the bullpen locked in. They used their key guys maybe a bit earlier, targeted those big bats in the middle of the Toronto order. It was a masterpiece of strategic pitching and defense. That one run they scraped across, just enough. Proves pitching can be the great equalizer, right?
Definitely. And speaking of teams making statements, let's talk Detroit Tigers swooping the Houston Astros in their doubleheader. Big day for the Tigers.
Oh, huge. That first game, 1-0 Tigers, that was just a pure, unadulterated pitcher's clinic on both sides, really.
Yeah.
But for Detroit to win that one, it showed real tenacity. Their hitters just grinded out at bats, fought off tough pitches, found a way to scratch that single run across. Gutsy.
And then Game 2, totally different feel. Tigers win 7-2. The offense woke up.
Yeah. They finally broke through, showed a much more aggressive side. 7 runs is a solid outburst.
So for the Astros getting swept like that, that's got to be a massive blow, especially fighting for the division.
Oh, absolutely. A huge blow. Getting swept in a doubleheader, especially giving up 7 runs in the second game. It suggests maybe their pitching depth got stretched pretty thin there. Houston's got to be asking some questions about how they manage their arms moving forward. The Tigers really exposed something, maybe.
All right, let's move to the Mariners and Phillies doubleheader. This one felt like, well, a study in inconsistency, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Game 1 was, fairly close. Phillies won 6-4. Solid win for them.
But Game 2, yikes. Philly just blew the doors off, 11-2. Was that just a terrible day for Seattle or something more?
Well, it was definitely a terrible day. But an 11-2 loss like that, it's a bit jarring. For the Phillies, it was an absolute demolition. Bats were scorching hot, just an offensive explosion. That's a massive confidence booster for Philly, for Seattle. Yeah, maybe it's just one bad day, but it's also a harsh reminder. They struggled on the mound, in the field. It shows they need more consistency, especially from their pitching.
Okay, let's talk about a team that had zero inconsistency yesterday. The New York Mets. 8-1 winners over the Washington Nationals look like a perfect day for them.
It really did. Just everything went right. The offense was clicking, scoring runs in bunches, putting pressure on early. And the pitching, phenomenal. Completely shut down the Nats. They looked like a well-oiled machine, honestly, playing with real confidence. Intimidating.
Now for a classic rivalry. Orioles edging the Red Sox 4-3. Felt like exactly the kind of game you expect between these two.
Totally. Tense, low scoring, decided by 1 run. That's textbook AL East ball right there. For Baltimore, winning that kind of tight game under pressure, that's huge. Shows they can close things out. And for Boston, yeah, it's frustrating to lose close, but they were right there. Still a team you absolutely have to fear.
All right, offense lovers, this next one was for you. White Sox score 10 runs and lose 11-10 to the Atlanta Braves. An absolute slugfest, scoring 10 and losing. That's going to be rough.
Oh, incredibly rough. That's one where pitching just basically took the day off, right, for both teams. It was just a relentless offensive onslaught, lead changes, big hits. Felt like every run was dramatic. You got to credit the Braves, though. Tremendous firepower and that never-say-die attitude to just keep hitting and outlast the White Sox. Wow.
Speaking of firepower, the New York Yankees, just pure, unadulterated brute force against the Rays, winning 13-3.
Yeah, that was something else. They took an already intense rivalry and just turned it into a beatdown. Scoring 13 runs like that, that's sending a message. Their offense is just a machine right now. Tough one for the Rays. Raises questions maybe about their pitching depth, but sometimes. Yeah, you just got to tip your cap. The Yankees are on another level.
Let's shift to the Kansas City Royals. They're having a quietly good season, aren't they? Beat the Rangers 5-2.
They really are. And this game was kind of why. Just a clean game, you know? Solid pitching, timely hitting. They didn't need one massive inning, just chipped away consistently. Good fundamental baseball. For the Rangers, it kind of highlighted their struggle sometimes to string hits together. Need more consistent offense.
Okay, Oakland Athletics, a team that's definitely had struggles, got a good win over the Minnesota Twins 6-3. That must feel good for them.
Oh, absolutely. A real morale booster.
Yeah.
This win shows they can still put it all together. The offense did enough, got some key hits, and the pitching held a pretty good Twins lineup in check. It's a good reminder, right? Never take any opponent for granted in this league.
Definitely. How about a big NL Central matchup? Chicago Cubs beat the Milwaukee Brewers 4-1. That feels like a statement win for the Cubs.
Huge statement win. That 4-1 score tells you it was dominated by pitching and defense. The Cubs starter was just excellent against a really potent Brewers lineup, kept them off balance. And the bullpen locked it down. It shows they can beat the best by playing smart, sound baseball, not just by outslugging teams. Really impressive.
Then we saw another offensive display, this time from the Los Angeles Dodgers. 11-4 over the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, the Dodgers are just relentless. Another game, another offensive explosion, 11 runs. That lineup is so deep, so talented. It really highlighted the gap sometimes between a top-tier team and one that's struggling. They just capitalize on everything.
We had a close one between the Cincinnati Reds and the Los Angeles Angels. Reds take it 6-4. Looked competitive.
It was a real back-and-forth game. The Reds' offense had a great day, got those 6 runs across. What stood out was getting clutch hits when they really needed them. Showed a lot of character to battle and get that win.
Okay, wrapping up with our last doubleheader, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Wow, kings of the one-run game yesterday, huh? They swept the Cleveland Guardians, winning 6-5 and then 3-2.
Incredible. Both games just incredibly tense, decided by the absolute smallest margins. A pitch here, a hit there. It really speaks to the D-backs' mental toughness, doesn't it? To come through twice like that in high-pressure spots, they execute when it matters. And for Cleveland, oh, that's just heartbreaking. 2 one-run losses. They're talented, but they just couldn't find that one extra play, that one key hit to close it out. Tough day for them.
And finally, rounding out our games, the San Diego Padres took care of business against a rival, beating the San Francisco Giants 5-1.
Yeah, just a solid professional win for the Padres. The pitching was outstanding, holding the Giants to just 1 run. Really controlled the game. Then they got enough offense for a pretty comfortable victory. It was clean, efficient, the kind of win you need to just keep stacking up if you want to stay in that playoff hunt.
And that wraps up our deep dive into yesterday's action. We saw it all, didn't we? Power, pitching, clutch plays, fundamental execution. Just incredible baseball drama.
Absolutely. It really showed how many different ways there are to win a baseball game. You had the disciplined approach, the sheer force, the brilliant pitching, and maybe most importantly, that mental toughness in close games.
So as you think back on all these games, here's something to chew on. Which of these different team strengths, maybe the Cardinals' fundamental execution or the D-backs' knack for winning those tight one-run games, or just the Yankees' brute force offense, which attribute do you think is the most vital, the most enduring recipe for success over a long, grinding baseball season? Something to consider.